His weapon wasn't rage, it was control. A cold, calculated performance designed to terrorize not just his victims, but their entire families. This is the story of how one man turned the telephone into an instrument of pure dread. Larry Gene Bell, a name that would become synonymous with terror in the American South. The Southland Strangler. His methodology was a chilling blueprint of surveillance and psychological warfare. Investigators believe he stalked his victims, learning their routines and identifying moments of vulnerability. He preferred young girls, often targeting them right at the perceived safety of their own homes. His intimate knowledge of local backroads provided the perfect network for a swift abduction and an untraceable escape. The nightmare begins on May 31st, 1985, in Lexington County, South Carolina. 17-year-old Shari Smith pulls into her family's driveway after a school event. It's a routine she's done 100 times. But today, in the brief window between her car and her front door, she vanishes. She never makes it inside. Hours later, the family phone rings. A calm, chillingly polite male voice is on the line. He says he has Shari. To prove it, he provides details about her car and the mailbox at the end of their driveway. Details only someone who was there could know. The family's hope turns to horror. On June 1st, he calls again. This time, he has a command. He instructs the family to find a letter Shari wrote. They search her room and find it, a 2-page last will and testament, dictated by her captor. It was a masterpiece of psychological torture, forcing Shari to confront her own mortality and her family to read her final coerced words. From June 3rd to the 4th, the calls continue. Bell toys with the family, dangling false hope, and then snatching it away. He uses strange repeated phrases like 10 to 4 and the haunting promise, "I'll be seeing you." Each call is timed to maximize their anguish and prevent any organized pursuit. Then, on June 5th, he calls with directions. It's a final, morbid game. Authorities follow his instructions and find Shari's body off a rural road. The cause of death? Asphyxiation. But even with Shari gone, the killer keeps calling, now feeding on the family's raw grief. 9 days later, on June 14th, he strikes again. Deborah May Helmick, just 9 years old, is playing in her front yard. Bell, likely watching from a distance, seizes a moment when she is briefly unattended. He snatches her and disappears. The same voice soon calls her family. The same cruel choreography begins anew. On June 22nd, he phones the Helmick family with another set of step-by-step directions, a grim signature of his crimes. Deputies follow them to a remote location where they find Deborah May's shallow grave. But this time, the killer has made a mistake. The voice is now the primary evidence. Every single call is recorded, traced, and triangulated. Investigators build a profile. A white male, likely local, who knows the backroads intimately and possesses an obsessive need for control. The call locations begin to form a pattern, pointing to a specific geographic area. As the recordings are played for the public, tips start pouring in. Several people recognize the calm, distinctive voice. The circle tightens. On June 27th, they make an arrest. Larry Gene Bell, a local electrician who also worked as a house sitter. The profile fits perfectly. A search of his home reveals damning evidence. Yellow legal pads identical to the one used for Shari's letter, and hair fibers matching both victims. The net had closed. The trial began in 1986. The prosecution's key evidence was Bell's own voice. The recordings of his calls to the families were played for the jury. They heard the same flat, polite terror that had haunted two families for weeks. It was the voice of a monster. He was found guilty on all counts. On October 4th, 1996, Larry Gene Bell was executed by electric chair. Justice delivered a decade later. The case was closed, but the calls remain an eternal chilling echo of his calculated cruelty. The lesson from this case is stark. If you ever receive a call that makes your stomach drop, one that feels wrong, threatening, or manipulative, the first step is to document everything. If possible, record the call. Write down every word, every background noise. Then delay. Don't follow instructions or go anywhere. Your priority is to loop in authorities immediately. Predators like Bell count on panic and compliance. By slowing them down and bringing in law enforcement, you take back the control they so desperately crave. Be safe. Hug your people. Thank you for watching. For more content, subscribe to my channel.